Well, thank you. I realize that people, when standing here, they take much time. So I was intending to start from my place, but I think I would like to make a few points just to connect what has been said from the morning and try to just propose some ideas for the discussing the platform in few moments. I think first of all it was interesting to hear about Tajruddin, and I think one of the main ideas of hopefully each year's meeting may be just to try to connect or reconnect and reread and rethink the ideas of the Pan-Africanist thinkers, so that younger generations can get in touch with the ideas that we tend to not be proposed enough to. So I think that was a good opportunity. And in relation to, I think, leadership, I think sometimes Tajruddin preferred not to use leaders when referring to heads of state. He just say heads of states or African rulers, to distinguish between the leaders or the main connotation and meaning of leadership and the position of just being in power. And of course, I'd like to make the argument in relation to what Ayo said, that actually the Egyptian revolution was not just a revolution against authoritarian regime, but I think it was also a revolution against what a famous Egyptian poet called the aged state, or the state of the aged, a state which is mainly dominated by people over 60 or 70. And by simple calculation, you can estimate that the average age of an African head of state is 75. And that apart from Burundi, the two exceptions for African head of state under 50 are the cases of Togo and the DRC, and we know how they came to power. So I think the Egyptian revolution, and hopefully other revolutions to come in Africa, will be against this, was mainly against this idea of an aged state. And the evidence is that the decision to participate in the revolution from the very beginning was made by some young groups against, in contradiction to decisions taken by their organization. Even this applies to political parties, to Islamist movements, and so on. So while the political parties, some political parties and the Muslim Brotherhoods, for instance, decided not to start the revolution or to participate in the revolution from the very beginning, young groups decided to lead this movement. So this just shows how the question of generation was very central to the Egyptian revolution. And let me just make maybe a final point about what's coming next, because in previous stages, authoritarian regime used to use the discourse about women empowerment, women emancipation, to give just a window dressing and to hide their authoritarian practices. That was called feminizing autocracy. Now, with the rise of the younger generation and youth movements, I can see that a similar process may happen, just trying to co-opt some young leaders into the ranks of power in order to hide the autocratic. I don't know what this will be called, but it will be just giving authoritarianism sort of a younger face. So while thinking of engaging in politics, in political struggle and political debates, I think we have to resist very much the idea of being just cooperated for the sake of being co-opted inside power institutions. And this will lead me to maybe the final point, which is what do we need this platform really to be? What will be the identity of this platform? What do we really want it to be? What do we really want out of it? Because we have just been discussing over lunch that we do not lack institutions that work on leadership. Different African leaders, Obasanjo established one in Nigeria, several ones in South Africa. Even at the Pan-African level, there are some institutions already in place. But there's something wrong with these institutions that we still have the average age of heads of state still around 75, and it's not only about heads of state, but look at political parties, trade unions, and all other institutions. So we need, I think, to think about the experience of the institutions that are already in place. What do we need to transcend? What do we need to do differently in order to really make a difference in this new Pan-Africanist movement? And I think I like very much the idea of linking back to experiences like the Pan-African Congress, for instance, and seeing what was mainly the lessons that can be driven from this kind of experience. And I'll stop here. Thank you.